reason and good sense so well that he keeps his head when a crisis comes.
Yep, and that's what's happening in this ministry and this truth. We're being trained, all right, really to tap into the faith, right? Because that scripture said good sense. Real quick, let's get Hebrews 11 and 1, right? Because good sense doesn't have anything to do with the 5 senses that you learned about in 6th grade, man. All right, sense or taste, touch, hearing, smelling, and tactile. That's not the good sense. When you go into Hebrews 11 and you read about all the things that our forefathers did with faith, the only conclusion is that it's spiritual power, man.
Yeah.
Or it's your access to spiritual power.
That's what he was training his disciples, man. That's what he was training them for.
Yep.
It's to tap into that faith. You know, because like you said, faith is spiritual power, which technically we already have spiritual power. So those that prove themselves to be found trustworthy, the Lord, all he's going to do is just turn it up. Okay? Now, case in point, to prove that Yahweh Shah was teaching his men spiritual power, was a few accounts coming to mind. But one is when they couldn't cast that demon out of that man's child, you know? And Yahweh Shah got frustrated with his disciples, like, how long shall I bear with you? You know, you adulterous generation. You know, you unbelieving generation. You know? He's like, this kind cometh not out but by fasting and praying. So he was like, no, y'all gotta dig deeper. You gotta get into that faith bag deeper. You know, Matthew 17 and 20, Yahweh Shah said, you shall speak unto the mountain, unto this mountain, and say, be ye henceforth removed. But you gotta have that, it starts off with that grain of a mustard seed, man. Okay? But it's not supposed to stay a mustard seed, it's supposed to grow. You know? So it's all, the Lord is teaching us how to have faith. That's why we're catching these afflictions, man. Brothers going through hell. It's not for no reason because the Lord just wants to see us suffer.
Right.
He just, look what I did to that thing. No, man. The Lord's, hey, we got to get the lesson, man. We got to get it quick. Because you about to start to see the body. You about to see, the body's about to go to another level. Yeah. And we don't want to be left behind because we're on the same level of faith that we was on when we first came into truth. You know, you can't actually fathom, you can't truly believe that the Lord can heal you of your infirmity. That's why brothers is filled with infirmities, man. You know, it breaks your heart. Like sometimes you just look around at the brothers, you know, y'all just may be sitting down fellowshipping, and brothers, you can see it on brothers' faces, they suffering. Some brothers got to sit certain type of way to find some type of comfort. That shit hurt you, man.
Man.
We ready for healing, bro. But the Lord, in order for the healing to come, we got to be in a fucked up situation, you know? But the healing's going to come. Okay, and he's going to use the hands of his very men that's been faithful to bring out this word, and he's going to confirm that word through signs and wonders and miracles like he did with his disciples, man. Mm-hmm. So the body, we got to be ready, man. We don't want to be no lukewarm brothers, especially in these times. Nope, never. But we don't want to be found lukewarm now, bro. Hey, the Lord's about to do a mighty work. The spirit is turned up. You know, just listen to the angel of our church, you know, Elder Yashawamba, man, the spirit that he's in. Get up underneath that vibration. You got to trust and believe that the Lord, okay, is dealing with our leaders, man. He's dealing with our elders, starting with the apostles, man. You know? So this ain't the time to be, you know, lackadaisical, you know, half-assing this truth. You know, being that, like Elder Pastor Ramlab says all the time, being that napkin brother. You're not multiplying your gift, man. Right. You know? Ain't no spiritual power gonna come to a napkin, brother.
Yeah. God, it's the book of John, chapter 14, and verse 12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me.
He that believeth on me, man. So it all goes back to belief. All right? Or in other words, faith.
Do you still have Hebrews 11 by chance? God, this is the book of Hebrews 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Right, because faith is our most prized, that's our most prized asset, man. That's it. Right? When you read 1 Peter, Peter says, or he likens, or he says that faith is more valuable than gold, man.
Yeah.
All right, which he's just giving an analogy, but you got to think, if you had $50,000 worth of gold right now, right, in your account or in your backyard, right, how would you be moving? Mm-hmm. You'd be moving with confidence.
You're protected at all costs,
right? And you would protect it, you know. So, but how? You gotta think. But how are you moving with the faith that you have? Because if you come into this truth, that means that you have a significant amount of faith. And that faith is going to increase. Okay? You got it.
Because faith is ultimately a gift. You know, faith in Yahweh B'Shem Shah and this full report, this doctrine, a gift.